ResortLoop.com is proud to be sponsored by Joffrey's Coffee and Tea, the official specialty coffee of Disney Parks. You can find Joffrey's Coffee and specialty drinks in the parks, at Disney Springs, or online at Joffreys.com.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
To our new passengers, aloha and welcome aboard.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Scott. This is ResortLoop.com, the gateway to the magic. You've joined us in the middle, and if not the middle, pretty close to the end of Holidaython 2019. So it's where we do a lot of shows in a row to get everybody from Christmas Eve all the way to New Year's Day with a little Disney magic. Some podcasts shut down, we keep going. We trudge forward, we keep moving forward. I heard that somewhere once before. But this show, we're going to talk about, I thought this would be a good time. We did a little Looper listener poll in about the middle of December in preparation for this show. The poll was, what is your favorite Disney-related memory from this year, 2019? It can be anything Disney. We were talking movies, theme parks, anything Disney that, touched you this year. I thought this would be a good way to reflect on 2019 and look forward to 2020. So we're going to kick it off with Matthew Wallace. He says, my oldest daughter and I have begun planning our first visit to Disneyland for next November. That's fantastic. That sounds awesome. It's hard not having too much to plan outside of when to go and where to stay. So, yeah, that's going to be that's a bit of an interesting trip I've heard. That first trip to Disneyland if you've been more of a Disney World person. So, Matthew, I'm hoping you're going to keep us up to date on that. Sydney Jane Seeger says, didn't make it to the parks this year, but Disney Plus has made my year. We love it. We love it. Also getting to surprise my cousin's kiddos on Christmas morning by telling her she's going to Walt Disney World with us in May and for her fourth birthday. Can't wait to take her to the Bippity Boppity Boutique. Oh, Sydney, I'm guessing you're going to post some pictures, I hope, to us over there at Looper Nation Live. That'd be fantastic. Susan Gunn, she goes, like Matthew above, my adult daughter and I have been starting to plan our first girls trip to Food and Wine in September. Don't tell anyone. But I've already got us some t-shirts for the trip. Okay. Susan, that's safe with me. I'm not going to tell anybody. That sounds like a lot of fun, though. Anytime you can go with your kids, maybe kind of a one-on-one trip or something like that, it's fantastic. Brian White says, I spent a week with my entire family, parents, brother, sister, nieces, and nephews, as well as my wife and our children. Total of 17. Oh, my goodness. Most had never been to Disney. It was an amazing time. Brian, that sounds like it's an awesome time. Brian, how did that go? You might need to come on the show. Send me an email. I want to talk about that one. Cassandra Callahan says, extra magic hours at the parks this past September. We got so much done in such little time. Plus, there were low crowds. Anytime you get low crowds at a Disney vacation is fantastic. Thank you, Cassandra. Oh, good friend Jeremy Hunt, you've heard him on the show. He said, I have a hard time nailing down favorites, but I'm going to give you two out of the top of the list. Jeremy sneaking in two on us. We'll see if I read both, Jeremy. I can make no promises. Kidding. First was a day spent with Heather Hunt, attending a Tiffin talk hosted by Joe Rohde at the Animal Kingdom. Fantastic. For us, it was expensive, and we talked ourselves out of it a few times before deciding to take the plunge. But it was worth it. Hearing Joe speak and having him sit with us and chat for a while was something I'll not soon forget. That sounds amazing. Amazing. Second is my family's first trip to California and getting to see Disneyland. We still talk about the trip all the time, especially staying very late and having the park mostly empty while we rode attractions and took in the sights. Jeremy, I'm loving this. I'm surprised, but thrilled at the same time that so many of these actually involve Disneyland. I love that. Might have to do something in 2020. I love that. Christopher Bartlett Walford, our friend from across the pond, says, taking baby Robin to his first ever film, The Lion King, the new one. That was wonderful. Tim Elbing Jr., cruise to Alaska, breathtaking views and amazing port adventures. Tim, I agree with you 100%. If you're a Disney fan, and even more so of a Disney cruise fan, and you've not done Alaska yet, give me a call. We got to get you out there, because that was my first Disney cruise. Amazing cruise. I highly recommend Alaska, especially when going on a Disney ship. I mean, why not? Jessica Kirsten says, Haven't been to Walt Disney World since 2013. She said when I was graduating undergrad and flew down to audition to be a Disney princess. Best experience ever. Oh, Jessa, that sounds amazing. I need to do a show on that too, Jessa. Let us know how that went. One of the most exciting moments of the year was therefore finally booking my room-only reservation for my next Walt Disney World trip in February 2021 for me and my boyfriend. A trip that I've been planning since literally 2015. I'm a freak, and she embraces it. She laughs. I laugh with her, because I don't think that's freak at all. I don't know what that says about me. Side note, my life hasn't been completely void of Disney over the past few years, as I did get to go to Disneyland Paris twice since 2013 while living in France. And one of those visits was for the Run Disney 10K, which would definitely be my top memory if it had occurred within the past year. Well, that's cool. Jess has got it going on. Marlene Yuknowitz says, my first ever Disney cruise. Marlene, I know about your first cruise. Resort Loop Travel helped you get there. I even knew a lot about the cabin you were in. Oh, awesome, Marlene. Thank you very much. And again, Disney cruise. How can it not be a top memory if you've been on there? Debbie Hartlett says, becoming a snowbird 2 miles from Disney property. It is surreal to go to Epcot for ice cream on a whim and riding Rise of the Resistance on opening day with my son. That is fantastic. And our friend Susan Gunn responded, goals. Oh, Debbie, that sounds fantastic. 2 miles from Disney property? I'm going to need an address. I don't need an address unless you have an extra room. Amy. Amy says, I have to agree with the Disney Plus. I love the Imagineering story. Amy, I totally agree. I'm digging that. I just watched my first, which I've been waiting to watch, the Jeff Goldblum thing. Fantastic. Love listening to him talk. And who knew that sneaker thing was in Cleveland? I think I remember hearing about it. I was like, sneakers? Who's going to go down there for sneakers? Boy, was I wrong. Friend of the show, Hannah Nolte, says, going to Disney and showing my hubby around some more. And, of course, riding rides, stuffing my face, and meeting Stitch. Nice. I believe Resort Travel helped out Hannah also. Robin Howard, she's planning for the next visit. Robin, I agree. Sometimes the best part of the Disney vacation is the planning part of the vacation. David Poole says that crashing the Millennium Falcon and building R2-D3, years of waiting for Galaxy's Edge to open was totally worth it. We looked out and got a reservation the first week, last June, and he can't wait for Rise of the Resistance next month. My guess he's going to Disneyland. Check that out. David, let us know how that goes. Susan Banks says, my boyfriend and I went to Disney World the week before Thanksgiving with 15 of our closest friends. That's our family. I like that. Friends, family together, family. Our home for the week was Old Key West Resort. It's something we planned for 2 years, and it was amazing. Spending time with our besties at our favorite place and making the best memories together was awesome. Now we get ready to hit Disneyland over Leap Day weekend in February with just one of those friends. It'll be our second time and his first, and we cannot wait. Susan, thank you very much. 15? I wonder, did you all stay in a 2-bedroom there? Still, that might be a lot for in there. But you could squeeze them in. Maybe you had a couple rooms. Susan, that sounds fantastic. James Jamie Price, good friend of the show, JJP, says, well, since I haven't been to the park since 2017, I'd say it would have to be the Indie Dismeet this past September. I got to meet several wonderful loopers there amongst the many Disney fans. I also had the opportunity to be a guest on another Disney podcast. There's another Disney podcast? Does somebody else do one of these? Why aren't I notified of these things? I also had the opportunity to be a guest for the first time since my appearance on Resort Loop. I'm not very good at it, but I try. James, you are fantastic. Did you tell them you were the JJP? I hope they were nice to you. Oh, my goodness. I'm sure they were. Leslie Miller Blair says, we were there in November, and it was our first time we've been to Toy Story Land. The Slinky Dog ride is so fun. We were lucky enough to ride it twice during our stay, and of course, Galaxy's Edge. So immersive. Here comes the pro tip, she says. Read or listen to the book Galaxy's Edge Black Spire by Delilah Dawson to get some inside info and be in the know before going. It really enhances the experience, and the cast members are delighted when you bring up the characters and lingo from the book in the conversation. Nice. That is a pro tip, Leslie. Thank you very much. Oh, Benita Polly Braun. We love Benita. We love her family. Says, hi, Tim. I'm so blessed to go to Walt Disney World twice this year. In July with my sweet friend Brenda. Then in August with my 3 favorite Disney Nut members, Tyler, Jessica, and adorable Genevieve. Absolutely, she's adorable. I saw a lot of her over this past Christmas. Just say that. You know what I'm talking about. Christopher Stank says, being in Disney this July with my parents, both my kids, and my girlfriend. Thank you, Christopher. Awesome. Anytime you can go with family, friends, it's a great time. Sheila Ginsburg. Oh, Sheila. Says, alas, no Disney visits this year, but I was so excited to read about and watch the openings of Galaxy's Edge and the gondolas. Also enjoyed the second Frozen movie and catching little bits of Disney on my travels this year, Disney stores and merchandise in other countries, and of course, being in this wonderful community. Oh, thank you, Sheila. Oh, and she thanks me for all of my hard work. And a salute to Bob, too. I tell you, let's all salute Bob right now. Okay, let's keep going. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you so much. Bob and I appreciate it. Leslie Murphy says, going to Disneyland on the 50th anniversary of the Haunted Mansion. It has always been my favorite attraction. So to go on the 50th and ride it was fabulous, and saw the Electric Light Parade. I so love the Electric Light Parade. We need a nighttime parade at Disney World that involves lights and music. An electrochromatic musical sound. Scott Fody. Hey, Scott. Housekeeping forgot our cleaner room at Animal Kingdom Lodge one day during our Easter trip, and we were gone for the day when we arrived back from the parks. Dinner was on the resort, no limits. No hesitation to make us whole, especially when I replied we had planned on going off-resort for dinner that evening. They always try to do right by the customer. Scott, thanks for pointing that out. You could have got all upset. You just happened to mention to them they took care of your dinner. How fantastic was that? Wonderful customer service. Sounds like a Disney vacation. Scott, thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. Jim Quicksell says, went to Walt Disney World earlier this month to see the decorations. Had several first. First time in Trader Sam's. First time at Jiko for dinner, Animal Kingdom Lodge. First time on the Skyliner. First time on the concierge level at Jumbo House. And Gary Sinise as the Candlelight Procession narrator. A great trip. Jim, that is a great trip. My goodness, good food. Gary Sinise, saw him last year. Fantastic. Love Gary Sinise. I actually want to see him again. Sometime soon. Trader Sam's, gondolas, Jiko. Oh, Jim knows how to do a trip. Brian Cern says committing to a Disneyland trip at the end of May and all of the planning. Brian, let us know how that goes. Again, another Disneyland reference here. This is wonderful. Calvin Connor. We're going to wrap it up here with Calvin. He says, my favorite Disney memory this year was by far dining at Morimoto's Asia. They were doing the No Parks trip, which we talked about actually on Resort Loop episode 626. Thank you, Calvin. We had to fill our time with other fun and food, so we headed to Disney Springs and headed to my personal favorite, Iron Chef's restaurant, with no expectations, and was blown away with so much that we visited them twice in the same week. He said Kelly's favorite was visiting all the Disney resorts that same trip to get an idea of which DVC resort to go to next. Calvin, that's fantastic. Again, let's not underestimate the fact of just traveling around the different resorts, using the Disney transportation, and how much fun and a little more relaxing that can be during the park, during the the holiday, high attendance times at the parks. Get the Disney magic, maybe avoid a little bit of the crowds that way. I love it. Calvin, thank you for sharing that so much. Everybody, thank you so much for sharing all of your Disney-related memories for this past year. Like I said, I said it all along, I was shocked at how many Disneyland ones were. I want to have another Looper Nation Live pool soon. I'm not going to mention it right now. I want to wrap up the rest of this holiday-thon. We'll get it out there, get your input on a Disney topic, and we'll share these from the Looper Nation Live Facebook page. If you'd like to be a member over there, once again, that's Looper Nation Live over on Facebook. That's where we post the polls. That's where you can leave your comments, and we'll get to them on a show. Once again, thank you, everybody, for sharing your favorite thing from 2019, Disney-related. I always think it's a good thing. Share it. Looking forward. That gives people some ideas of maybe something they could do in 2020 and have a good Disney experience themselves. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm Tim Scott. Facebook, Twitter, the website, ResortLoop.com. Holiday-thon continues. We should have one more show if everything goes according to plan. I hope everyone's been having a good time. Everybody, go out there and share the gateway to the magic. See you, everybody. Vacation memories will stay with you and your family for a lifetime. The Resort Loop Travel Group was created with this in mind. Our fee-free services will relieve you of the stress and confusion of finding and booking the best vacation at the best price. After booking, we will continue to monitor for ways to save you even more on your vacation. We will check for any upcoming packages and discounts to save you as many vacation dollars as possible. Resort Loop Travel Group, gateway to your magical vacation memories. Get a quote, or for more information, visit ResortLoop.com.